to talk today as well about mental health in times like this and really like basic hacks we can do to make our lives feel a little bit easier and better. So, one of mine is organization. I don't think people understand how your physical space and your mental space are tied to each other. So when your house is a disaster, when your stuff is cluttered, when your stuff is chaotic, when you have no idea what's going on around you, that can very, very easily be tied to what your emotional state is. And so for me, it is super crazy tied. And this is not in a judgment way at all, because everyone has a different level of what they think cleanliness is and clean and organized and all those things. Some people are like crazy, crazy, amazing organized, where every single thing is in its spot and labeled and fancy and great. That's not me. That's not me. But I am the girl who is really, really picky on the stuff in my space. And right now, with everybody being home, with people not working. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Amanda. Oh, use the days of less. It's the words around it. I just felt like day off felt like I was off, right? Or a slow day just felt like I was slow. And I was like, that's not the energy I wanted to put into it. So I just call them days of less. It just means I'm doing less on those days. But pay attention to stuff in your space. We have so many things that have been gifted to us, and everything is science. Everything is molecules and energy and atoms. And everyone always is like, oh, Dawn, you're so hippie. And I'm like, no, that's actually just science. Because if you were a child of the 80s, you watched the movie Young Einstein where they split an atom. Please tell me someone has watched that movie, because it's brilliant. But pay attention to the things that are in your space, especially right now when you're at home so much. Everything has an energy to it. So I've been spending a lot of time lately just going around my house even and going, why is this here? Why is this thing in my house? I don't love it, right? I don't like it. It doesn't hold any amazing special meaning to me. So why do I have it? Guess what? Donate it, get rid of it, do something with it. You don't need it. And that is something that I've realized that not many people do. Not many people actually take the time to look around. And so I was talking to a client and a friend yesterday, and she was talking about her house and doing some renovations and doing some fun stuff in there. And I said, so are you still going to keep all the same crap in your new space as you do in your old? And she was like, oh, yeah, I hope not. Right? Yes, if your body's feeling up to it 100%, just have less stuff. It's easier to organize. That's my trick. But we were talking about it, and she's like, yeah, but I might use it one day. And I was like, but if you haven't used it in the last 6 months, you probably aren't going to use it one day. Oh, but I'm going to do this craft, or oh, I'm going to do this art thing. You know what? Put it in your calendar. Sit down and figure out how long it's going to take you to do. So one of the things that we were talking about, and we were laughing about it because it's something that I did at one point, was I gathered all these picture frames because, I was going to magically spray paint all of them and do some crazy gallery wall. Yeah, no, not happening. So when you sit down and look at it and go, okay, this project is going to take me 7 hours to do, where in your calendar are you going to put it? And what's your deadline to get it done by? Because guess what? If you actually wanted to do it, you'd have no problem putting that in your calendar. You'd have no problem doing it. Is it a car you're trying to renovate in your garage? Is it cleaning out a storage space? Is it, yeah, but one day I'm going to play that sport again? You know what? If you can't find room in your calendar for it, if you can't find the energy to put it into your schedule, you're never going to do it. You won't, because it's not of importance to you. If it was important, you would have no issue finding that time and that energy. So look around. How many of those projects have you held on to forever? So one of mine for a lot of years was I used to knit. Yeah, call it a day of less. Seriously. I tell everyone to do that. They laugh so hard. They're like, that is kind of brilliant, because it makes sense mentally. One of the things, so I used to knit. I learned how to knit in high school, and only to make a scarf for my grandma. And I stopped knitting, but I had all this knitting supplies. Well, here's what happened. It sat in this area where I saw it, where I looked at it. And every time I looked at it, guess what feelings it elicited? Not good ones. Not positive ones. Like there was no Like, it's not like I looked at it and I was like, oh, I'm just so excited for the day I'm going to use that. No, it was like this weird guilt and shame over the fact that I still hadn't used it and it was still sitting there. And man, I really have to do something with that. And I can't believe I spent that much money on it and blah, blah, blah. Why? Why are we keeping these things? Right? Like, why are we keeping these things? So I just gave it away. I gave it away to someone who knit. And I was like, go enjoy yourself, right? It took that negativity out of my house. So now I'm not looking at it and like regretting it. Totally purge your house. We have so much junk, right? We have so much junk in our spaces. Guess what? It means we have junk in our brains too. So spend some time in that. Really spend some time looking at it. I was raised by an organized hoarder. That is how, probably the best way to describe her. My mom had a cleaning company. She was very, very tidy, very, very clean. And one of the things that she did was like the house looked really clean on the surface. It was very, very tidy. But I'm talking like a whole floor of her house, 1,200 square feet, full of boxes and full of things and full of stuff. And every drawer and every closet was stuffed, like stuffed to the brim. And so much of it had guilt attached to it or shame attached to it because it was from somebody. It was something that, oh gosh, now my alarm system's going off. Guys, I'm a mess today. Sorry. This is what happens when I take a few days off. So one of the things I was like, there was so much guilt and shame attached to it because like someone had gifted that or someone had bought that or that was a wedding gift or that was a this or that was a that. Instead of being able to look at it and just be like, I don't love this. Why is it here? Right? So if you're having to spend a lot more time at home right now, go and get rid of things. If you have 120 books on your shelf that you've never read, you're probably not going to read them. Find someone who wants to. If you have all those clothes in your closet that you're like, yeah, but one day I'm going to be able to do something and I'm going to have to wear those. Guys, you're never going to. Surprise yourself and buy some new ones then, right? The you might need it someday is a complete crock. I'm just going to say it. You will never need it. And give yourself permission that if you do ever need it, you can actually just get it again. That's something my husband and I did years ago, was as we would get rid of stuff, we're like, if I ever need this, I'll just like spend the $100 and rebuy it. Can I just say, in all of the years I've been doing this, I never rebuy things because it was never that important to me. So get rid of your canner that your aunt gave you that is telling you you have to start canning all your fruits and veggies because you're never actually going to do it if you haven't up until now. Find someone who wants it, right? Get rid of the old musical instruments from your childhood that you're never going to wear or use or wear. Never going to play. Get rid of the clothes from grade 12 that you've grown out of because you've probably had kids and your hips just aren't even the same size anymore, so you physically will never get back into them. It's time. Go through your house and get rid of it. And so if you're struggling with the emotional attachment to things, take photos of them. Take a photo of it and then write a little story on what it means to you or where it came from or something like that, and then print it into a really cheap book, like Mix Book or one of those like book things that you can print online, because then you still get to see it and the memory is still there. You don't need to hold the physical item forever. Okay? So, you guys are amazing. I am so glad to be back, and I will be back here Monday at noon. I hope you are all having a really great day. I hope you find something really huge to smile about today, and can't wait to keep this going. Talk to you guys later. Bye.